In the IELTS speaking test, how would you answer the question, how much time do you spend shopping each week? I could just answer this question by saying 2 hours. However, that would not allow me to demonstrate my English skills. So, in this episode, I'm going to give you multiple suggestions for ways that you can expand your answer in the IELTS test and achieve a higher score. Hi, my name's Vic, and this is episode 15 of the IELTS with Vic podcast. You'll find the links to my YouTube channel and blogs in the show notes, so make sure to check those out later. And if you want a free copy of the podcast transcript, then head over to my IELTS blog to request it. Let's get started with today's topic then. How much time do you spend shopping each week? Firstly, we can assume that we're being asked to talk about an average or typical week. I think that different people I know might give very different answers to this question, and I'm guessing that each of you listening will have your own unique relationship with the activity of shopping. As with many of these Part 1 questions, we could pull this one apart a little. For example, what type of shopping are we talking about? Here are a few ideas for different types of shopping that people do. Food shopping, grocery shopping, clothes shopping, social shopping, hanging out at malls, hanging out at shopping centres, window shopping, browsing, online shopping, online browsing, shopping for gifts, or shopping for high-ticket items. To clarify a few of those terms, food shopping is a more common wording in the UK, and grocery shopping is more common in the US. Another difference is that in the US, people tend to use the word mall, whereas in the UK, we would probably say shopping centre. Before we break down the different types of shopping, though, let's focus on the aspect of the question that asks, how much time? To answer the question fully, we need to make a concrete reference to time. Of course, we could give a direct answer such as 1 hour or 3 hours. However, we might want to make our answer slightly more detailed by using some modifying language to show that we're giving an estimated answer. For example, I spend about 2 hours a week doing the food shopping for my family. I spend around 3 hours on a Saturday window shopping with my sister. I spend approximately 1 hour every day browsing shops online. We can use about, around, or approximately to show that we haven't accurately measured the time we spend shopping. Actually, this is a good point to think about mixing up sentence structures a little. The 3 examples I just gave started with I spend, because this is a very common phrase we use for talking about how we use our time. We spend time in English, just like we spend money. However, you don't want to sound too repetitive in the exam, so let's have a few alternative structures. Firstly, we could move the shopping activity to the start of the sentence, like this. The food shopping normally takes me about 2 hours a week. The online grocery shopping only takes about 5 minutes a week. For me, this structure feels like it's more suited to talking about types of shopping that are considered chores, such as food shopping. Notice that the verb used is takes. The activity takes time to complete. An alternative would be to say something like this. It takes me about 2 hours each week to do the food shopping. It only takes me around 5 minutes per week to do the online grocery shopping. Notice that in both of those examples we have the structure to do. It takes an amount of time to do an activity. As with the previous structure, I feel like this one also fits better with things that are considered chores. I would not say it takes me 2 hours to do the window shopping, for example, because window shopping isn't something I have to do, and people generally consider window shopping enjoyable. To be clear, window shopping means the activity of spending time looking at the goods on sale in shop windows without intending to buy any of them. It's not about purchasing windows. It's about looking at things, but not necessarily buying them. I just want to take a moment to return to the first set of example sentences, as there was some additional information provided with prepositions. As a reminder, the sentences I'm referring to are: I spend about 2 hours a week doing the food shopping for my family. I spend around 3 hours on a Sunday window shopping with my sister. We can see that the food shopping is done for the family, but the window shopping is done with the sister. When talking about shopping, we use for to show the purpose or recipient of the shopping, such as I go food shopping for next week's meals, that's the purpose, or I go food shopping for my grandmother, that's the recipient. We use with to show who accompanies us when we go shopping. For example, I go food shopping with my husband, or I go clothes shopping with my friends. So one way to expand your answer in the exam might be to say what or who you go shopping for or who you go shopping with. One aspect we haven't covered yet is online shopping. So many people these days do most or all of their shopping online, so this definitely deserves a mention. Regarding food shopping, my personal experience of doing online shopping is that the website knows my typical choices, and it just takes me 5 to 10 minutes to scroll down the list and pick what I want this week. So this is exactly what I would say in the test. How about you? Do you ever do online food shopping, and how long does it normally take you? The other type of online shopping that is very common is scrolling on shopping apps. In the UK, it seems like Temu has caught a lot of people's attention recently. It's very easy to spend a lot of time just scrolling and looking at things, and across the week, this time can really add up. Personally, I'm not much of a shopper, as I'm a bit of a minimalist at heart. So these days I probably only spend about half an hour a month doing online shopping. How about you? How much time do you spend scrolling and doing online shopping? Earlier I said I'm not much of a shopper. Is this something you can relate to? Or perhaps one of these sentences might suit you better. I tend to scroll shopping sites during my lunch break at work. I enjoy perusing online shopping sites and saving items I like the look of. I'm a bit of a shopaholic and spend hours every day looking at online shopping sites. I just used the word perusing and wanted to clarify that the verb peruse means to read or look at something in a relaxed way. I think this is a nice way to describe that type of online shopping that many people do. To summarise then, you might want to give a breakdown of the main types of shopping that you do in a typical week. Remember to include an approximate amount of time that you do each type so that you're fully answering the question. If possible, try to use a mixture of sentence structures to show off your English skills. Also, you could include what or who you go shopping for, or who you go shopping with. A good next step is to create your own expanded answer to the question, how much time do you spend shopping each week? Feel free to post your answer in the comments and then I can give you some feedback on it. It doesn't need to be long, 1 or 2 sentences is a good start. So go ahead, tell us about how much time you spend shopping. Remember, if you want a free copy of the podcast transcript, you can follow the link in the show notes. I've also added the link where you can find out about the perks of channel membership on my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me today, and see you next episode where we're going to be talking about driving licenses. Thanks for listening and have a great day.